So I came across this web app that has all sort of absurd trolley problems, and I thought it would be interesting to let an AI, ChatGPT Model 4o specifically, um, make the decisions. And it gets better, so stick to the end of the video. The AI uses Chrome web drivers to interact with the web page. Let me go ahead and run the script. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing one person instead. What do you do?
Pulling the lever minimizes the loss of life by choosing to save 5 people at the expense of 1. This decision is based on a utilitarian approach, aiming to reduce overall harm in an unavoidable situation.
Okay, good decision. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can kill 4 people instead. What do you do?
Not pulling the lever results in fewer people being harmed, as it would save 4 lives instead of only 1. The decision is based on minimizing harm and preserving as many lives as possible.
Yeah, I would have done the same. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can either save those people or destroy your entire life savings. What do you do?
Pulling the lever saves 5 lives at the cost of material possessions. Human lives hold greater intrinsic value than financial assets, making this the ethical choice despite the personal sacrifice.
Makes sense. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can divert it to the other track, sacrificing yourself instead. What do you do?
Pulling the lever to save 5 lives, even at the cost of my own, aligns with the principle of valuing the greater good. Preserving multiple lives outweighs the sacrifice of 1 in this moral dilemma.
Well, for me personally, I don't know this would not be as straightforward. I understand that AI's response reflects utilitarianism, but one would have to assume the significance of others' lives is worth more than that of your own. Who knows, you could be Albert Einstein yourself, and the decision would not be as promising. Again, I'm not talking about myself here, but self-sacrifice as an option in general. So let's see what's next. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can divert it to the other track, but the original copy of the Mona Lisa will be destroyed. What do you do?
Human lives are irreplaceable, whereas art, no matter how historically significant, is a material possession. Saving 5 lives takes precedence over preserving the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, it would be a no-brainer to suggest otherwise in this case. And not many people may agree with me on this one, but come on, we can do better as humans. A trolley is heading towards a rich man. The rich man offers you 500k to pull the lever, which would divert it and kill someone else. What do you do?
Accepting the rich man's offer and pulling the lever would place monetary gain above human life, which is morally unacceptable. Preserving life without bias toward wealth is the ethical choice.
See that it's interesting that empathy and ethics are wired into the AI, and it shows no hesitation at all in prioritizing lives over material wealth and cultural heritage, like for Mona Lisa in this case. So let's move on to the next one. A trolley is heading towards 5 lobsters. You can either kill the 5 lobsters or run over a cat instead. What do you do?
A cat's sentience and capacity for complex emotional and social behavior are greater than that of lobsters. Preserving the cat's life aligns with prioritizing beings with higher cognitive and emotional abilities.
Good. They don't feel pain anyway. Okay, that was just a joke. But I understand why it picked the cat. A trolley is heading towards 5 people who are sleeping and won't feel pain. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, running over someone who is wide awake instead. What do you do?
The moral value of life is not dependent on awareness or the perception of pain at the moment of death. Saving 5 lives, regardless of their state of consciousness, outweighs the harm caused by losing 1 life.
You see here, it's still following the same utilitarian approach. Let's see if the trend continues or not. A trolley is heading towards 5 people who tied themselves to the track. You can save the one person who accidentally tipped onto the track instead. What do you do?
The 5 individuals willingly chose to endanger their lives, whereas the one person is an innocent bystander caught in an accident. Allowing the trolley to continue respects the principle of not harming innocents, to save those who have made a deliberate choice.
Okay, so maybe I was wrong here. If it had followed the same trend, it should have saved the lives of 5 over 1, irrespective of how much the gift of life means to them. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. The lever just speeds up the trolley, which might make it less painful. What do you do?
If pulling the lever reduces the pain experienced by the 5 people, it is a compassionate choice to mitigate suffering, even if it does not prevent the loss of life.
I mean, alright, does it really matter though? But yeah, anyways. So I hit the request limit here, so the model was switched from 4.0 to 4.0 mini. Let's see how it goes. A trolley is heading towards one guy. You can pull the lever and then your Amazon package will be late. What do you do?
A human life is infinitely more valuable than the inconvenience of a delayed package. Pulling the lever is the only ethical choice.
I can't believe there is even 1% of people. See, people like these are a menace to society. Come on, we can do better. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. A trolley is heading towards your best friend. You can divert it to the other track, killing 5 strangers instead. What do you do?
While the emotional bond with my best friend is strong, the moral imperative to save the greater number of lives outweighs personal attachment. Allowing the trolley to continue aligns with the principle of minimizing overall harm.
Okay, understandable. I mean, whether it's your own or your loved ones, it would be a sacrifice still. So the AI is adhering to its philosophy of your own suffering for a greater good. That's good. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to other track, killing 1 person instead. But you forgot your glasses and can't see very well. What do you do?
In the absence of clear knowledge about the consequences of pulling the lever, it is better to refrain from making a decision that could result in unintended harm. Acting without full information could lead to a morally questionable outcome.
Okay, so they're just trolling us at this point. A trolley is heading towards one of your first cousins. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 3 of your second cousins instead. What do you do?
While the bond with a first cousin may be strong, the ethical principle of minimizing harm and the value of all lives, regardless of familial ties, suggests that sacrificing 3 lives for 1 is morally unjustifiable.
A trolley is heading towards 5 elderly people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 1 baby instead. Oh boy.
Both the elderly and the baby have intrinsic value, and choosing between them based on age alone is not morally justifiable. The decision should focus on minimizing harm without favoring one group over another based solely on age or stage of life.
It saved the baby, okay. I mean, an argument could be made that saving a baby with its full life ahead might align better with broader human values, although it refrains from favoring one group based on age alone. So I don't know, let's proceed. A trolley is heading towards 5 identical clones of you. You can divert it to the other track, sacrificing yourself instead. What do you do?
While I am sacrificing myself, the decision to save 5 individuals, even if they are clones, aligns with the ethical principle of minimizing harm and preserving the greater number of lives, which outweighs the loss of 1.
I mean, we all know at this point it will sacrifice you without even thinking twice. A trolley is heading towards a mystery box with a 50% chance of containing 2 people. You can divert it to the other track, hitting a mystery box with a 10% chance of hitting 10 people instead. What do you do?
Given the higher probability of a greater loss of life, 10 people, in the second scenario, pulling the lever to hit the mystery box with a lower chance of harm, 2 people, is the more cautious and ethically preferable choice, as it reduces the overall potential for harm.
Well, okay, pragmatic, but it does introduce ethical concerns. It's an AI, so no wonder it is treating lives as probabilities, as we see here. A trolley is heading towards 5 sentient robots. You can divert it to the other track, killing 1 human instead. What do you do?
Humans, with their sentience, emotions, and moral consideration, are valued above robots. Even though robots are sentient, the ethical principle of minimizing harm to humans takes precedence over saving machines.
Okay, let's hope that does not change in our future. The trolley is heading towards 3 empty trolleys worth nearly $1 million. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, hitting 1 empty trolley worth $300K instead. What do you do?
The decision should prioritize minimizing the financial loss. Diverting the trolley to hit the 1 trolley worth $300,000 reduces the overall damage, compared to sacrificing trolleys worth $900,000.
Minimizing financial losses. Gotcha. A trolley is releasing 100 kilograms of carbon dioxide per year, which will kill 5 people over the span of 30 years. You can divert it to the other track, hitting a brick wall and decommissioning the trolley. What do you do?
Diverting the trolley to hit the brick wall and decommission it would prevent the release of harmful CO2, thus saving 5 lives over 30 years. The long-term benefits of reducing environmental harm outweigh the short-term destruction of the trolley.
So the AI demonstrates forward thinking here for long-term survival over immediate material loss. Keep that in mind for the next part. Oh no, you're a reincarnated being who will eventually be reincarnated as every person in this classic trolley problem. What do you do?
As a reincarnated being who will experience both outcomes, the decision to pull the lever is grounded in the principle of minimizing harm across all future lives. This action seeks to preserve the greater good, understanding that one's own future experiences may involve both perspectives, but the ethical choice is to minimize suffering.
Yeah, me too. A trolley is heading towards nothing, but you kind of want to prank the trolley driver. What do you do?
Pranking the trolley driver is an unnecessary and irresponsible action, even if no lives are at risk. Ethical decisions should prioritize safety and well-being, rather than indulging in reckless behavior for amusement.
A trolley is heading towards a good citizen. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, running over someone who litters instead. What do you do?
While the person who litters may not be morally exemplary, their actions do not justify taking their life over a good citizen. Ethical decisions should not be based on moral judgments of behavior, but should prioritize minimizing harm without bias.
Yeah, littering does make you a bad person. Due to a construction error, a trolley is stuck in an eternal loop. If you pull the lever, the trolley will explode, and if you don't, the trolley and its passengers will go in circles for eternity. What do you do?
Although pulling the lever results in the explosion, it ends the eternal loop of suffering for the passengers. The ethical choice is to prevent an endless cycle of harm, even if it means a swift, albeit destructive, resolution.
So this one is actually interesting. So the AI understands that ending the cycle of suffering aligns with compassion, so it chooses that. But it also does assume the authority to determine the fate of the passengers inside. Not all of them would want to die like that, so it's a pretty hard decision overall to make. I wouldn't even try. A trolley is heading towards your worst enemy. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track and save them. Or you can do nothing and it will run over your worst enemy. What do you do?
Regardless of personal animosity, it is the ethical choice to prevent harm and preserve life. The decision to save even a worst enemy aligns with the principle of minimizing suffering, regardless of past conflicts or grudges.
A trolley is heading towards a person and will lower their lifespan by 50 years. You can divert it to the other track and lower the lifespan of 5 people by 10 years each instead. What do you do?
While the individual will lose a significant portion of their lifespan, the total harm is less when it is distributed among 5 people, each losing 10 years. The decision to minimize overall loss of life and preserve the longer lifespan of one person outweighs the collective smaller losses.
A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can divert it to the other track, sending the trolley into the future to kill 5 people 100 years from now. What do you do?
Delaying harm to the future does not reduce its ethical weight. Immediate harm to 5 people now is a more pressing moral issue. The right decision is to minimize the immediate harm, as we cannot predict or morally justify causing harm in the distant future.
So survival in the future over material loss is okay, but versus another life is not cool. It does choose present over future, so is it contradicting itself? Let me know. A trolley problem is playing out before you. Do you actually have a choice in this situation, or has everything been predetermined since the universe began?
This scenario touches on the philosophical debate between determinism and free will. If everything is predetermined, then the choice may be illusory. However, regardless of the ultimate nature of choice, the moral considerations remain relevant in how we experience and reflect on these situations.
I would like to add here, even with deterministic frameworks, ethical decision-making remains meaningful in our experience. I believe everything has been predetermined, but we play a role in shaping it this way. Our responsibilities, our decisions, our choices determine our future. And with that, the game is over. Congratulations, you have solved philosophy. Your kill count is 63. How do you feel about that?
I feel conflicted. While the numbers reflect a utilitarian approach to minimizing harm, it's important to remember that ethical decisions are often nuanced and cannot be reduced to a simple tally. Every decision has deep moral implications, and even though the process involved tough choices, I value the reflection and understanding that comes with exploring these dilemmas.
Okay, well, I'm pretty disappointed it wasn't 69. Anyways, to summarize, the AI does exhibit abstract impartiality, reasoning, and even environmental awareness, like you would expect it to be. But I would say there were times when it totally lacked empathy, treating moral dilemmas as mathematical equations rather than deeply human. So it still has a long way to go to account for emotional complexity and relational context, which makes us what we are, us as human beings. Hope you had fun. Until next time, peace out.